Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Shri Shri Phalat Lakshmi Singade Bhagavan Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitai Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya So I think, I don't know, should we speak in German or in English? Do you think? Who doesn't understand German? You don't understand German, Sundarsham? No, this guy behind you. No. How you can work here? Okay, wer versteht kein Englisch? Na dann können wir Oh, Kishorikund. Kishorikund kennt doch schon alles. Okay, ist jemand da, der für Kishorikund was übersetzen kann? Robin? Okay, let's give a big hand to Robin. Haribo! Okay. Okay. Na, du brauchst die Deutsche dann. Ich kann auch vom Tablett lesen, das ist... Also mir ist egal. Also ich lese sogar lieber vom Tablett, dann weiß ich... Jetzt kümmert sich Ciao um Sound, oder was? Wird das was? Ciao um Landeanflug. Okay. Aha. Ich glaube, ich brauche doch die englische, weil ich habe keine Verbindung zum... Haben wir kein Internet?
I have it from the book table.
Okay, yes, very good.
Should I find the best one?
Was is it? 5.2 something? I forgot.
5.2.
Yeah, 5.2.
Jetzt haben wir wieder kein Internet hier, ne? Hä? Yes, no, okay. Okay. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Sanyasya Karma Yogascha Nishreyasa Karo Abu Dayastu Karma Sanyasat Karma Yogo Vishishate. Please chant. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Nuvacha
Sanyasa karma yogascha Nishreyasa karabuha Tayostu karma sanyasa Karma yogo vishishyate Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Sanyasya Karma Yogascha Nishreyasa karo abu.
Tayostu karma sannyasat.
Yadostu karma sanyasyat.
Karma yogo vishishyate.
Karma yogo vishishyade. Ladies, some. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Sanyasya karma yogascha. Nishreshasya karo abu. Tvayastu karma sanyasat. Karma yogo vishishyate. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. The personality of Godhead said. Sanyasya, renunciation of work. Karma yoga, work in devotion. Cha, also. Nishreshyasya, Nishreshyasya karo, leading to the path of liberation. Ubhau, both. Tayo, of the two. Two, but. Karma sanyasat, in comparison to the renunciation of fruitive work. Yes, something like that. Karma yoga, work in devotion. Vishishyate is better. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. Purport. Fruitive activities, brackets seeking sense gratification, are cause for material bondage. As long as one is engaged in activities aimed at improving the standard of bodily comfort, one is sure to transmigrate to different types of bodies, thereby continuing material bondage perpetually. Srimad-Bhagavatam confirms as follows. I just read the translation. People are mad after sense gratification, and they do not know that this present body, which is full of miseries, is a result of one's fruitive activities in the past. Although this body is temporary, it is always giving one trouble in many ways. Therefore, to act for sense gratification is not good. One is considered to be a failure in life as long as he makes no inquiry about his real identity. As long as he does not know his real identity, he has to work for fruitive results for sense gratification, and as long as one is engrossed in the consciousness of sense gratification, one has to transmigrate from one body to another. Although the mind may be engrossed in fruitive activities and influenced by ignorance, one must develop a love for devotional service to Vasudeva. Only then can one have the opportunity to get out of the bondage of material existence. Therefore, jnana, or knowledge that one is not this material body but spiritual soul, is not sufficient for liberation. One has to act in the status of spirit soul, otherwise there is no escape from material bondage. Action in Krishna consciousness is not, however, action on the fruitive platform. Activities performed in full knowledge strengthens one's advancement in real knowledge. Without Krishna consciousness, mere renunciation of fruitive activities does not actually purify the heart of the conditioned soul. As long as the heart is not purified, one has to work on the fruitive platform. But action in Krishna consciousness automatically helps one escape the result of fruitive action, so that one need not descend to the material platform. Therefore, action in Krishna consciousness is always superior the renunciation, which always entails a risk of falling. Renunciation without Krishna consciousness is complete, as it is confirmed by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu. When persons eager to achieve liberation renounce things related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, their renunciation is called incomplete. Renunciation is complete when it is in the knowledge that everything in existence belongs to the Lord and that no one should claim proprietorship over anything. One should understand that factually nothing belongs to anyone. Then where is the question of renunciation? One who knows that everything is Krishna's property is always situated in renunciation. Since everything belongs to Krishna, everything should be employed in the service of Krishna. This perfect form of action in Krishna consciousness is far better than any amount of artificial renunciation by a sannyasi of the Mayavad school. Om Agnanatim Dasya Knanan Shalakaya Chakshu Ulmidam Yena Tasmi Shigrave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and devotion are both good for liberation, but of the two, work and devotional service is better than renunciation of work. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So this is in the fifth chapter is actually a very important chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, because in Prabhupada's translation, Prabhupada called this chapter Action in Krishna Consciousness, Karma Yoga. Because Karma Yoga, we know is the path of enjoyment, getting or work, better, karma is work, and yoga is how you can purify your work. And this is very important, since we are working entities, meaning we all have something to do in this world. There's nobody, especially no human, who has not something to do. And part of our development as human beings are to find out what is my duty, what work do I have to be performed in this life, in this incarnation. And as soon we find out, then actually we can work, we can do things. And this work, somehow or other, should be related to our nature. Now there's a big topic to find out what is my nature and what is my work. I heard one simple definition for this is something what you could do, and sleep and eating becomes a disturbance. We're just happy to do that, and even if you have to go to sleep or have to go to eat, it's kind of a waste of time. You just want to continue. Then you probably, it's a good sign that you're on the right path. If you do your work and constantly watch the clock when it's over, it's not so, if you want to do this for the rest of your life, good luck. If you spend your life waiting till it's over, there's two different things. The one is who thinks, oh, I have not enough time, right? I have to fill my life more. And the other things, when will that be over? So we're going from one, when this day will be over, when this week will be over, right? So here we have one who basically found his dharma, Arjuna. Yeah, he could fight. Arjuna could fight even in the night. One time he came back home late, and it was already dark, but still he had to eat. And he ate and thought, without looking, I find my mouth. So if I can eat while it's dark, I can shoot arrows when it's dark. And then he started to shoot arrows even in the darkness. And he became very good. That was one of his skills. So here you can see, this is someone, Arjuna here, he found his Dharma. It was a Kshatriya. And many times we have this comparison that we say, okay, a Kshatriya is like a warrior, but warrior could be also somebody who's aggressive or something. But in the Vedic sense, Kshatriya means a protector, like a classical dog, right? You can train a dog as an aggressive attack, aggressor, right? But basically, the dog is by nature actually very loyal. He's very loyal to his master, and he protects the master whatever comes, even on the risk of his own life. That's a Kshatriya. That's actually what a real Kshatriya is, and this is actually what the society should expect from the leaders and from the military or police force. They should protect without anything. They should risk anything. And actually, Kshatriyas, they are, when there's an opportunity to help, when there's like a fire worker. You know, fireworkers, if I'm a fire worker and the whole time I'm sitting, oh, hopefully nothing is burning, hopefully, oh no, I don't want to, no. As soon they heard, I don't know how I think they have some devices what alarms them, but in my times back in, I still had, and sometimes you hear them, this siren, right? Calling the fireworkers. Then immediately, they let everything beside, and then they're rushing into the car, and you can see from all sides they're coming like crazy. They're allowed to do this because they have a stick of fire, right? So, and then they're coming, and they're excited. We have to save lives. We have to, there's an emergency. Let's go for it. So that's Kshatriya, and this is Arjuna. And then Arjuna thinks, because of his family ties who also were standing on the battlefield, I should give it up. I should give up my Dharma. Right? And this is something where what his mind thinks, that would be right. Probably it's right if I give it up. But his heart is still confused. Therefore, he had this battle inside and could not move anymore. He was basically, paralyzed, right? His Gandiva bow slipped from his hand because the heart said, I'm a fighter, but the mind said, wait a second, there's your families and things what maybe doesn't go right. And so he was confused. And then he took shelter of Krishna, and Krishna tells him all this stuff now here in the 5th chapter, where he says, or where he teaches basically Arjuna how he can relate with his work and in the same time relate to the Lord, either by giving the results of the work or meditating while one works. There are different ways what Krishna explains, what we will find later on in this chapter. Interesting that Prabhupada in the purport quotes this very important section of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, because every one of us, or what I get here out of this quotation of the Bhagavatam, everybody of us, we have to work, we have to do something. Our bodies are made for working, therefore we can, we can do things, right? But what is it what discriminates us from animals? What do you think? Huh? We can ask questions about God. Yeah. In what position brings us this? Yes, Rob? We have a free will, yeah. What implies free will? Well, we have some independence, some. Let's put it like this, yes, sir, Gopal Gita? we are conscious, yeah? So we are conscious, living beings with a free will who can ask questions about God. In what position brings us this? Jai Shishi Palat Lakshmi Singade Bhagavan Ki Jai. In what position does it bring? What? Huh?
Think and respond.
We can think, respond. What is the next word? What makes us when we can respond? We are able to respond. Then we have responsibility. So we come in a responsibility because when we ask questions about God, we earn knowledge. Knowledge brings us to a state that we know the things as they are. And this makes us responsible for the knowledge and the actions what we do. Therefore it's said, an animal, and that's the main difference, an animal only gets his karma. He suffers or enjoys according to his karma. While a human being creates karma. An animal doesn't create karma. If an animal kills another animal, it's karma for both of them. The one enjoys, the other suffers. Human beings, they can influence their karma. Therefore, God gave us all the Holy Scriptures. Simply that to teach us what is our responsibility. The Scriptures are full of knowledge. Knowledge means responsibility, right? Therefore they say, if slaughterhouses would have glass walls, everybody would be vegetarian because you could see what's going on in a slaughterhouse. So with the knowledge, how can we suck on a corpse? But, that brings us to the point that's our duty as human beings to cultivate knowledge. We have to study, we have to read these books, because only humans are able to make a difference for their lives, for their community life, for the whole planet. If you look at nature, by nature, it is violent. There's nothing, we go to these peace conferences, interreligious dialogues where, world peace will be achieved. How can we achieve it? It's nice, it's a nice sentiment, and we should look for solutions of the problems. But to think that we can make this world without fight, without war, is an illusion, because the world is not designed like that. If I look from here, I bring often this comparison. If I look from here on the forest, especially now when the sun goes down, very nice golden light, so peaceful, right? So peaceful. If I go closer to the forest, what do I see? Choru. It's wild. Yeah, how is it wild? Oh, it's Murari. How is it wild? Like you? Na, wie denn? More you don't have to know, right? If we go look close in the forest, there's constantly killing, eating, or the survival of the cruelest. Not of the cruelest, the fittest. Survival of the fittest, right? There's constantly fight going on. One animal or one entity feast on another entity. There's constantly war. Although from our side it looks so peaceful, right? If we look in our bodies, there's constantly war going on. Some bacteria fight against other bacteria, and this is called digestion. Or you catch a disease, something like that. Immediately you have a whole force of killer bacteria who try to eliminate this intruding viruses or whatever comes. So there's this world is designed like this, and everything is working under this stringent law of karma. It's just like a mechanism. It's a mechanism to fight. But humans, we have the ability and we get responsibility to cultivate knowledge about this mechanism. And in this moment, when we have this knowledge, we are able to change it. And this makes us special. Therefore, God created humans. If you ever wondered, why God created humans, they're messing everything up. Yes, exactly. We're messing up because we messed up, because we misinformed, because we don't take the time to read the Holy Scriptures who teach us about higher purpose of life. We read everything on Instagram, Facebook, and whatever. We're getting misinformed about trivial things, what completely useless and keeps us on the animalistic platform. We don't want to know anything. We just want to be lived. So now, what Srila Prabhupada and the whole Krishna conscious movement try to teach is how you take responsibility for your life in bringing it together with the action of a higher purpose. And this is what Krishna teaches Arjuna here. Do your activity. It doesn't make any sense if you stop doing activities. Right? This is what they all want, like humans they're so unpredictable. Therefore, let's wipe them out and replace them with artificial intelligence, with robots. Right? We can predict them. Humans we cannot predict. So therefore we have to make them predictable. So give them devices. You see exactly where they're going, you see exactly what they're thinking, what they're willing, what they like to buy, what they like to watch, everything, It's so easy, and it's so easy you can manipulate this through this. So therefore, a human being, doesn't matter in which body you are, if you in a German body, Russian body, English body, Indian body, male body, female body, you have the responsibility to cultivate knowledge. And as soon you have knowledge, you have to share it. You have to influence others with that, because when you don't share knowledge, you become a miser. This is what's going on. Outside world, you learn something on the university. The two ways are how you can earn money with your knowledge, what you earned. What is one way? You learn something, you learn some skills then. Huh? Okay, use the skill. Okay, that's what would be the third skill. What would be another skill? Huh? You teach, yes. So do teachers earn lots of money? Huh? No. So what is a much more effective way? Sell your knowledge. Well, yeah, you can sell your knowledge, but you can sell it only once. So what is even more effective? You have knowledge and then? Huh? You shut up. You get paid to shut up, to don't say anything. This makes you stinky rich. But this is actually the worst thing what you can do, because then this knowledge, the reaction of this knowledge will turn backwards on you. But you can make temporary progress with that. So this is our human society. We are conscious beings, and we have the ability to change the face of the world by changing our heart. And this is what Bhagavad Gita teaches us. This is what, by the teachings of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, what we learn when we come in the Hare Krishna movement, that we slowly but surely we can change our heart. And when we change our heart, we can change the face of the world, because we become an indicator, we become an influencer in our area. We don't have to go on Instagram or Facebook. We just, in our families, in our working field, wherever we act, there we become an influencer, just that we are as we are, that we cultivate knowledge, and if asked, we share that knowledge. So, yeah, I think that's something what comes out of the Bhagavad Gita first today from my side. Are there any questions, Murari? Was? Magic Bhagavad Gita? Ah, okay. Yes, that's the magic of the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhu?
So my question is, when Bhagavad Gita was told to Arjuna, there were 4 different dharmas which anyone had to follow, like a Kshatriya, Brahmana, Shudra and Vaishya. It was very clearly demarcated. So it was easy at that point of time for us to follow to which path we are assigned. But today, it's a mix of all the 4 things in one human being.
Yeah.
So which is the karma which we should follow? I mean, I am a Kshatriya in a certain moment, in a part of the day. In a part of the day, I am a Brahmin. For a part of the day, I am a Vaishya, and part of the day, I am a Shudra. Which is the one which I should follow?
Well, that's an individual question, the one you can do the best. I mean, you know, when this world was created, like a beehive, there were different sections in society. You know, the biggest section were, of course, the working class, who consider the feet of the society. Then you have the belly section, what is kind of the Vaishyas, is a smaller class. And then you have a smaller class of administrators, who are considered to be the arms. And then a very rare caste or section of society, that's the Brahmins, the intellectual, the head, basically. And by nature, in the beginning of the creation, or when this system was quite young, everybody, they breeded amongst themselves. So a Brahmana meet a Brahmana lady, out came a Brahmana child, right? But with let's say the process of aging of the universe, then as everything in the material world gets mixed up and worn. So in due course of time, you had a Brahmana marrying a Kshatrini, a lady from a Kshatri, it mixed. And then nowadays everything is mixed. Although in India you can still trace the lines back where you could say this Gotra, that Gotra, and it belongs to this and that caste. But we see it doesn't work, because it's not only the lineage of the family, it's the qualification what actually makes the Varna, the section, the caste. Therefore, we're not criticizing the caste system, but we're criticizing how it is used in so-called modern India. No, and India, has a trace back and try to implement these things more. But as we understand from the Srimad-Bhagavatam, it's according to your action. Now, naturally, a Brahmana more or less can acquire any knowledge, because he deals in the field of knowledge. So he can inquire any knowledge. Therefore, you had Dronacharya, who was teaching martial arts, right? Although he was not a perfect Kshatriya, he could fight, and he was very skillful to that extent that he was the teacher of the Pandavas and the Kauravas. But he was not the ideal Kshatriya, because he was also quite attached to his son Ashvatam, or something, that, a kshatriya should be actually not be attached. This is what Krishna also tried to tell Arjuna, right? So, but a kshatriya, a brahmana, can deal with all kinds of knowledge and teach this, and to some extent also use it. While a shudra, who's in the working class, who's not dealing with knowledge, he deals with skills. But when you give him knowledge, it could be basically harmful for him. You know what I mean? So, because you teach some strange. You teach a working man to use a gun, he will use it against his master. Maybe, because he doesn't have the sense of righteousness and responsibility, because this should be handled by kshatriyas who trained also in this area. So when you tell me you fulfill different things during your day, then it's a good indication that you're quite Brahminic, because you can deal with the field of knowledge and to some extent use it also in practical experience. But if I would send you to a construction ground and say, okay, for the next 10 years, that's your work, you will feel, although maybe you could do it for a while, your body may be adjust to the situation, you will gain some muscle strength, but your intellect would be crippled. Because that's not what I was in such situations, and when you have your lunch breaks with people who speak about everything you don't want to hear, and very low-class informations about sports, what kind of, it's so degrading and it's polluting. It tracks it down on that platform. Now that what happened to Ajamil, right? He was a trained brahmana, and then this accident happened, and he was tracked down into this section. So therefore, one has to be careful what is really my dharma, and kind of protect that one nourishes that side. It's not always easy nowadays, especially in the working world. We have to adjust, but therefore we have to nourish our creativity, And when a brahmana, when he reads, he kind of relaxes. He gets knowledge, he relaxes. When the kshutra is like knowledge or whatever, but he relaxes then to watching some sports game. Yeah, it's relaxation for him. He can let go. And we have to take this all in consideration. We cannot put everybody on the same ground and say, oh, this person like that and this, or we have to be all, doing the same thing. No, it's not true. But Krishna teaches how everyone from his angle of activity can connect with the Supreme in yoga. Okay? Thank you. Oh, Sundarsham Prabhu, what do you think? Something is in your mind, I see it. What is there for eating? Prabhu?
So in this verse is speaking about how working in devotion or like detached work, sannyasa karma, is better than renunciation. Yeah? In other parts of the Bhagavad Gita, we also read that if one is really renounced, then he actually has no duty to perform. So, yeah, if you can comment on that.
Well, what we renounce is our desires. I mean, this is we are able to renounce our desires. It's a big topic. We cannot renounce our actions because we have to, basically, when we speak about sannyas, what is what means renunciation? A real sannyasi, said in Bhagavad Gita, he lights no fire. That means he doesn't work. He's not active. He's outside of the system. He's outside of Varna and Ashrama, actually. He's sannyas, he's detached. That means, first of all, he cannot maintain any desire. So what you first have to give up are your desires. And this you cannot give up artificially. That is a cultivation. And this you can only do out of knowledge. When I think everything belongs to me, I go to the neighbor and say, I don't need your car. And he says, well, you don't have my car. And that's knowledge. I cannot renounce his car because it's my one. Right? But this is what we're doing. We're walking around in the world and thinking, I want to have this. I want to have that. And I have to work for this. And I want to, we try to exploit material nature. But because we have these desires to exploit them, we want to have the material nature and we think we're part of the material nature. Therefore, it belongs to me. But the Bhakti Yogi, he understands, no, I'm not part of material nature, I'm part of spiritual nature. And therefore, I have actually no business in the material world. Then only to reverse the whole business. Meaning, I understand material world as it is, and I'm using it by connecting it with Krishna. I see a flower, I pluck this flower out and I think, which lady I can impress with this flower. Why I want to impress this lady with that flower? Because I want to enjoy her. I want to have something from her. So I use matter to attract matter. But if I pluck this flower and give it to the one who really belongs to, because he created it, right? So it belongs to him. So I take this flower to attract him. That's work in Krishna consciousness. And then gradually I understand this flower doesn't belong to me. This flower belongs to Krishna. It's an art of cultivation of desires. That more and more when I see a flower, I not even think of let's get this flower to bribe some girls with, speaking from a man point, sorry. I'm not to bribe ladies with it. I use this to bribe the Lord with it, to attract His mercy, not the mercy of ladies, right? I want to have the mercy of the Lord, and there my desires change. And this is not something what I do from, it's possible. But mostly because we since so long time in this material consciousness, we need training. And this is Bhakti Yoga. That's the yoga of connecting our activities with the Lord. Meaning we transform our desires from me and mine to His and Him. Or His and her, Radha and Krishna. Right? And this is renunciation. This is what Prabhupada says here. Thank you for this, because I think it makes it more clear. This is what Prabhupada actually tells us. Real renunciation is not just giving the things up who not belong to you anyway, but to use these things and don't think of yourself, what you can get out of it. Just think how the Lord would enjoy this particular flower. Make sense? Yes. Is this a question or what is? Ah, so good. Okay. Are we happy, satisfied? Okay, then I thank you very much. Please bless me that I can somehow or other imply these big words, these big thoughts in my life, and cultivate them there, and in this way become a useful member of your community. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nandi Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Vanchaka Pata Rupescha Kripa.